And we're back. Another episode of Sports, and More Sports. We are joined by Des again, partner in crime. Today we have Florida Panthers fan with us, Jason. Sorry, a little fast. A little fast already at the start.
No, it's one thing.
Yeah, what an insult. You didn't even know my name, Andrew?
It's a whole other thing to not guess.
Just a little spaz off the rip. My apologies. But before we get started, Des and I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone. Over 50 subscribers on YouTube, over 100 followers on what's it called?
TikTok.
Dude, I am out of it today.
Christ.
I am out of it. My apologies. So again, just thank you all. Very quickly, next week we'll be getting more into our basketball as the Pacers lead 3-1 over the Knicks, and then the OKC won last night 3-1 over the other team, Minnesota. Dude, I'm not having a day today. But tonight, Jason, tonight's the night. Are you going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals tonight?
I think so. I'm pretty confident. Rarely does this team lose multiple games in a row. Last game we had no Miko, we had no Reinhardt, no AJ Greer. I think Paul Maurice just wanted to take a gamble and see if we could get it done without them. Couldn't get it done. Carolina got the game they finally wanted. Grinder down to the end, 1-0 basically down to the third period. Then they put in 2 empty netters. That was that. But, now we got Reinhardt finally back on the ice. Miko, after that scary fall, he's back on the ice. So we'll see them out tonight. We'll see if they continue to contribute and get it done tonight.
And I just, it's a feel-good story that the Hurricanes actually finally won a conference final game. I mean, that leads to celebration all on its own. What was it, like this is their third time and they've been swept?
0-15.
Yeah, it's crazy.
0-15.
Yeah, I was seeing comments on Instagram, and there was a bunch of Canes fans that were like, "That's right, you guys remember what happened here. We don't lose 16 in a row."
You gotta respect it, though. You gotta respect it.
Yeah.
I will say this about Carolina, though. They have some pieces. They got a lot of money in cap. I think they're going to be a great team next year. They have Slavin. He's been playing great. Logan Stankoven, he put in a nice goal.
Thank you.
They're definitely going to resign. That's the guy they got from the Dallas Stars with that whole Rantanen debacle that was going on for a period of time.
I was just about to bring that up. Imagine that team with him, though. Like, I don't know why he didn't want to stay there, but imagine that team with him.
Oh, they'd be putting up a way tougher fight for sure.
Yeah, and then they also traded. Didn't they trade Jake Gensel last year to the Lightning? Pretty sure that was part of that. I don't know if they could afford him or not. But I know that they traded him to the Lightning. So, dude, imagine that team with those two pieces added into it. Obviously, it's a whole different scenario because who knows what happens, obviously. But yeah, like you said, it's crazy where these teams, what this team did at the trade deadline to still being at that moment, because it just built up depth. Like, to be honest, Aho is like the only star player I know from Carolina. Other than that, I can't. It's all just depth.
I would say Aho's the only person I know, and that's because he was on my fantasy team, hockey team name, and my team name was Your Mom's a Ho. So.
Aho's always contributing. I feel like I hear the announcers saying his last name a million times every game.
Yeah.
So I know he's definitely moving the puck around.
But
that's been a thing that. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
That's been a thing that going into the series, a lot of people were saying. They got depth, they got pieces, but do they have that extra star player? The one that can throw them on their back if need be. Like Edmonton has Connor McDavid. So if the depth pieces ain't showing up, you always got a Connor McDavid right behind you to try to drag you back into the game. So I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. They're probably going to make a push. I see, Mitch Marner is coming out of Tampa. I mean, not Tampa.
Toronto.
I've been confusing both of these teams since we played both of them this postseason. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Mitch Marner, he might be going to Carolina, either Carolina or Vegas. So
that's what I was saying, dude. Like, I think I was last week or 2 weeks ago. Like, I just don't see Sebastian Aho winning a Conn Smythe, being the first one to raise a Stanley Cup. Like, I just don't think he's at that level. Great player, like probably an elite number 2 on a Cup team, but he's not at this level that the Florida Panthers are at.
Well, me and my buddy's been saying, the Florida Panthers, we got a couple star players. If you really want to put one, it's Barkov. But
really, not Tkachuk.
Not Tkachuk, man. It's definitely Barkov.
Bob. What about Bob?
Bob, great goalie. Very streaky, but he started off kind of rough, I would say. But if you look at his save percentage throughout the entire playoffs, it's somewhere around I think like a 900. But in the past couple games, it's technically like a 960, kind of like a crazy, like with Stuart Skinner, for example. Stuart Skinner, he started off pretty rough. Got benched in Picard. But Stuart Skinner now is at like 985, something crazy. Like.
He's the missing link. He's the only reason McDavid doesn't have a cup.
Yep. Yes, he is. But gets pretty streaky, I think though. Edmonton's kind of scary right now. They did lose Hyman though. Hyman, he took that hit from I always forget his name.
I forget.
Marchment. Yeah, he took that weird hit on the shoulder. I guess he must have been playing with an injury. Yeah. Now he got surgery, so no Hyman, but they still got Draisaitl. I was
gonna say, so obviously McDavid gets all the attention he deserves, and then so he's Batman. You got Robin with Draisaitl, but this Nugent Hopkins dude is putting up points, man. He's a part of every goal, whether he scores it as the primary assist or secondary assist. He's living in the box score, man.
Yeah, they got some people. Nugent Hopkins is taking some of that pressure off. But, another player that's doing pretty good for them, you got Evan Bouchard. He's putting some in, too. And then Corey Perry. 6 goals, with Corey Perry. Wow. I will say, though, there's a funny history with Corey Perry.
The finals.
Talk about unlucky,
Jason, do you want to read it or you want me to read it?
Oh, you can go for it, man.
Okay, you can talk for a second. I'll pull it up because I want to get this right because that was a pretty fun tidbit.
A pretty cool thing about
is he cursed?
Yeah. So let's see. All right. So first fun fact: Corey Perry has played more playoff games more than any team since 2000. 230 games postseason. Pretty cool. But then it's so cursed. So 2020 played with the Dallas Stars, lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Stanley Cup Final. 2021 played with the Montreal Canadiens in the Stanley Cup Final, lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning. 2022 played with the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Stanley Cup Final, lost to the Colorado Avalanche. Took a year off from being cursed, went back to the curse last year, played with the Oilers in the Stanley Cup Final, lost to the Florida Panthers. He is obviously on the Oilers again. They're on the verge of making the Stanley Cup Final, so I don't know.
We'll see if he decides to try to break it this year. They look like they're playing their best hockey at the right time.
Yeah.
So if the Panthers are able to close this out, I don't see them losing 4 in a row. So whether it be tonight or when it comes back to Sunrise, if it's Oil and Cats, I think we got ourselves a serious series. I think it's going to go 6 or 7 for sure.
Last year was terrific. So, sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, you're good. Just don't want to put my 2 cents in here about 2 things here. First off, Corey Perry has played 20 seasons in the NHL. Like you said, the amount of games he's played. He's made the playoffs 17 of those seasons. And the amount of teams that he's played on, that's just pure consistency of like him and his work ethic and stuff like that. Because they were talking about him on the game last night that he's not the best skater, but how smart he is and the way he knows the game just makes everyone around him so much better.
Bro, he was a beast in 2011. 2011 NHL MVP. He had one of the filthiest goals. We'll have to play a clip or something, but he went between the legs and he was disgusting on the Ducks that year.
But
sorry, but
you're good.
That's how I feel about Barkov. But he's been an OG. He's been through some of the worst Panthers teams. And Aaron Ekblad in an interview, they were like, how did it feel when you guys sucked all those years? And he's like, we always had hope because of Barkov. And when you have someone like a Barkov, he'll make anyone around you better. So it's, like the whole Seth Jones thing. Every, Chicago fans were like, oh, Florida got fleeced. Seth Jones is horrible. And I'm like, maybe
he's been playing some pretty good hockey lately.
Yeah, everyone's been contributing. So it's just like, was he bad or was he just on a bad team? So now that he's on a good team, he looks much better. Same thing with I was at a Panthers game one time and I had a fan next to me say, man, Matthew Tkachuk and Barkov will just they'll make anyone else look better on their team. So, yeah, I got to give my flowers to Barkov, man. Playing great defense, plays great offense, sets people up. Kind of like
that's what I'm saying, man. Like you guys have some first liners, but your whole team is like second liners. Like you don't have third or fourth liners. Like it's a
third line is possibly the nastiest one in all of the NHL right now.
Dude, your roster is filthy, like head to toe. The coach is great, the GM's amazing. Like, it's just a filthy freaking roster.
Yeah, Marchand.
Marchand.
Like, who would have ever seen that happen?
Yeah. Jason, I have a question for you.
What's up?
So, when did you become a Florida Panthers fan? And was it April 2023 or May 2023?
So I've been a fan man since like 2017.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been pretty blessed to be living close to the stadium. Not anymore now. Now I live on the other coast. But dude, there was a lot of trying moments being a Panthers fan. For example, we let go of Vincent Trocheck. I was mad about that trade. Why are we giving up a proven player for E2 Lusterinen? He turned out to be a stud. Another one that was groundbreaking after a 115-point season in Jonathan Huberdeau. Why are we getting rid of Huberdeau? That was such, excuse my language, but that was such a ballsy move by Bill Zito.
Oh, dude, you can say much worse than that.
That was such a ballsy move to just say, you know what, Huberdeau's a great player. He's not getting us over the edge, though. You know what I mean? So you end up getting someone like Tkachuk that probably ain't going to be putting up a 115-point season, but he'll play playoff hockey. And that's where I almost feel like regular season hockey doesn't have that much importance. Like, yeah, play good enough to get to the postseason, but postseason hockey is something else, man.
It's a different breed.
It's insane. Same with the NBA. Like, the NBA the regular season is basically kind of preseason. It's just glorified. Yeah. I mean, they rest their starters 20% of the games. It's like an NFL preseason. Yeah.
I mean, it's no just like NFL, like one game and it's move on to the next week. I mean, you could be playing 7 games, just a full on as hard as you can, and that's just one series.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do 4 of those possibly just to win the cup. I mean, the sweat and the tears that go into it, like, you need to be ready going into playoffs. It's a 100% different breed, and every second matters. It's not like you get like another possible like chance. Like, every second matters in every single game.
Dude, if you're staring at some chick in the stands, that's it. Your season's done. Bro.
Exactly.
That's how quickly these pucks and these line changes and these crazy bounces and goals happen.
I went and took a shower last night. It was 1-0 Edmonton. I came out. It was 2-1 Edmonton. I missed 2 goals being in like a 20-minute shower.
I know, dude. I'm at the gym. It's like whatever, 4-4 or no, there was a whomping. It was like 4-1 Edmonton. I do a set of 10. It's 6-1 Edmonton. I'm like, you're joking. Whoever said that, they just scored. Like,
yeah, I will say, man. I think Edmonton has learned from playing the Panthers last year in the Cup. Well, before the injury, I will say this: Zach Hyman, bro, 111 hits.
Jeez.
This guy did not throw out that many hits the last postseason. Now, is that partly why he got hurt? Maybe, but you want to be gritty in playoff hockey. You want to be throwing the body. You want to be wearing out the other team.
Has he given 111 hits or received 111?
Given 111 hits.
Wow.
Christ.
Yeah. He's the current hit leader.
Wow.
this entire playoffs.
Well, that's what
I was gonna make a joke about breaking your hymen, but
Well, I wanted to ask you that, Jason. Because you guys were leading 3-1 in the Stanley Cup last year, and they came back and forced a Game 7. Do you think
they were up 3-0? They were up 3-0.
Yeah.
Was it 3-0? Well,
It was 3-0.
well, 3-1. It's kind of the same thing.
No, it's different.
It's a little different. So, do you think now, with that, coming back from that, do you think they'd be more prepared? Because it looks like you're going to play them now. They're up 3-1 on the Stars. I guess same thing like you guys. Just it's hard to see them Dallas win 3 games in a row. Do you think they're going to be more prepared to beat you guys this year than they were last year? Like they know how to beat you guys.
I think, yes, they are going to be definitely more prepared. They played us, they learned a lot. But I will also say, this is a better team, I think, than the one that actually won the Cup last year. We got Brad Marchand on the third line now, and he's instantly making Anton Lundell and E2 look much better than they have in recent memory. So I think we both got better. So it's, these are teams that they got depth. 10 Panther players have over 10 points. Everyone has scored a goal practically. It's just, you got contributions coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
So Edmonton, they made some moves. I think it'll be close, man. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think both of these teams are going to really, really leave it out there.
It'll be 6 or 7 for sure.
Hopefully.
McDavid's not going down without a fight.
Dude, if he wins like what's it called, the Conn Smith Award again, bro, and doesn't win the Cup, bro, I would stay away from that man for a good solid 2 weeks. Like I wouldn't go anywhere near him.
For real, dude. He's like the new Rory, dude. Like he's like can't win the big one, and it's just gonna mount and mount and mount until he does.
To be fair, though, it's just he never had the team around him.
He did last year. They did last year.
They did, but like not the depth to compete.
They went to Game 7 on the Stanley Cup.
So look, I saw on a podcast, and this is what I'll say. In the end of the day, they finished the same as the San Jose Sharks.
That's true.
Losers. If you can't, that's why like people say, oh, the team was good enough to make it to the Eastern Conference Final, or they were good enough to make it to the playoffs. If you're not winning the Stanley Cup,
it doesn't matter.
You gotta rethink. It doesn't matter. But yeah, for a long period of time, McDavid didn't have a whole team behind him. Now, luckily he's got Dry, he's got some depth now. He's got Bouchard. What's this guy?
They got the other Skinner, Jeffrey Skinner.
Yeah, they got Skinner.
Yeah.
There was I forget the name of this guy they got.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was.
He got some good pieces. You talking about Brad Marchand though? Have you heard about this plastic rat thing? And can you maybe tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, man. So first of all, the real Rat King, as a Florida fan, will always be Kachuk. He was the first one we started calling the Rat King. But when you have someone that's been in the NHL as long as Brad, he is now where everyone's calling the Rat King. So much deserved. But yeah, man, the Florida Panthers, they have a funny history. We used to play in Miami. The stadium was kind of god awful, and it was filled with rats. And this is when Scott Mellenby went into the locker room, and a giant rat came across, and he just swung his stick at it, killed a rat, went out and scored 2 goals. So then Van Heesbroek, the goalie, he was like, "Oh yeah, Mellenby scored a rat trick." So after that, after every win, now there's rats on the ice.
Yeah, and then what? They I saw some of his Marchand's teammates. They shoot him at him.
Yeah, that's the little new tradition. They've been shooting them at him after every game. Paul Maurice was joking, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, they're shooting those things kind of hard. Let's take it."
Eric, one got him in the face. I think it kind of yeah.
There's a Dairy Queen tradition now going on. That's something else.
What's that?
There was a funny video that went around with during intermission. You just see Brad Marchand eating a Blizzard.
Oh.
And then apparently the same group, they went out to Dairy Queen again. And they're just having a good time, man. They're having a good time and they're hungry.
Bro, you gotta I feel like when the third period ends and it goes into overtime, you gotta be munching in the locker room, man. I'd be so depleted.
I read this crazy article and it was Sergey says every game he loses 15 pounds.
Holy crap. I remember LeBron, I was listening, I think it was part of my take, LeBron apparently gained weight during games. He would gain like 6 pounds. I'm like, how is that possible?
My goodness.
That's crazy. 15, man.
There's a guy that was on Barstool. He just started there, he just moved to Chicago 2 weeks ago. This is a little bit off topic, but it's on the weight topic.
Is this Dana Beers?
No, it was no, not Dana Beers, but it's some new guy. I think his name is Zach. Moved to Chicago 2 weeks ago, and he's gained already 16 pounds. And he says
that deep dish pizza, man.
No, he says there's a McDonald's right down the.
Dude, you can't be.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
He's not even doing it. He's not even doing it the right way. And then,
then they were his challenge single, bro.
Yeah.
And then they did a challenge today on the Yak of him eating 2 double cheeseburgers, 3 large fries, and 2 large drinks, and he has to do it in half a YouTube video. They're just beefing this guy
out. Want to hear something funny? So this is something funny. I brought up Chad Ochocinco because he always talks about his McDonald's addiction.
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins, right? The Panthers are 0-6 whenever a Miami Dolphins player bangs on the drum at Panther Stadium.
That's crazy, dude.
And I'm just we gotta ban them. We gotta ban Dolphins players from entering the building at this point, man.
Is that all time or this playoffs or both?
All time.
Holy.
All time. Okay.
Do
you know what the record is this year?
Well, last game we had Zach Sealer, and he was hitting on it. And I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe just sit from the bleachers like Jalen Waddle likes to do. Stay away from the drums, guys.
Zach Sealer, what is he, a guard, a lineman?
No, he's a defensive
end. He's a defensive tackle, yeah.
Yeah, you guys need Kodak Black, lap dancing for strippers again, get that back.
Yeah.
Maybe Brooks Koepka.
And the amount of memes that came after that.
Yeah, or Brooks Koepka coked out of his mind, just staring at the Jumbotron.
Is it, it's in Carolina, right, tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does the home ice even really matter for a team like the Panthers? I don't think so.
It hasn't so far.
I think it matters. I think it matters in playoffs. Didn't we just? I feel like I just got into this argument with someone about home field advantage throughout stuff. Oh, but I think home field matters way more than people think.
Yeah, but I mean, we can
when it's close, not when you're losing 5-1 every game.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it matters obviously when it's 0-0 start of the game and everything like that. Obviously, when it goes down to it, and they're leaving, halfway through the third. But sometimes you just need that juice, that energy, just to kick it off, and it's always best to be at home, obviously, for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but look at Madison Square Garden. That's supposed to be the most electric place ever. People are acting like it's Death Valley. The Knicks haven't won a game there this series at least. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We went into there last year against the Rangers and it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
The Cats, I don't know why, man. It feels like they play better on the road than they do at home.
I feel like there's a good identity for a hockey team. You want that gritty, adversity, target on our back type of mentality. You don't want the Kansas City Chiefs, Mahomes, trying to get all flashy and get the mess on your side. Yeah, this doesn't work for hockey.
I think it's 16 goals to 4 for the Panthers on the road in the past couple games.
Yeah.
And you had a Game 5, Game 7 in Toronto. Those were blowouts.
Those are, yeah.
And then, Game 1, Game 2 in Carolina. Those were also blowouts. So if the Panthers lose tonight, it's not going to be because they were in Raleigh and they got scared.
Yeah. So speaking of stadiums, you said they used to play in Miami, and I was just kidding around when I said when you become a Panthers fan.
It's all right. It's a joke. Man. We've upgraded to 7 now.
7, yeah. But yeah, there was. I mean, they probably were the least relevant franchise in all sports. I mean, for a while, I didn't even know where they played. I never heard of Sunrise. So what was it like going from those 2017 to 2022, and then fast forward to 2023, you just beat the best regular season team of all time, the worst fucking postseason team of all time, my Boston Bruins. But you beat them, and then you lose in the cup final. But you make the cup final, you win the cup the last year, and now you're on the verge of another one. What's this roller coaster, been like? What's it like? Because as a Boston fan, I've been spoiled. I've really only known success, so I haven't really seen these cool come up stories.
Man, there was scandal involved in 2021. We had a Quinneville, right? So we even lost our coach.
Yeah.
And despite the scandal, he was a great coach.
3 cups with the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we bring in, good old Paul Maurice. But for a while, I've just been let down so much. I need to see something happen, And when I saw that this team, they had every right to just be given up already, against Boston, down 3-1. And they just didn't give up. And that's when I was like, this team is actually something different. It did end in a very unfortunate fashion. We did lose to Vegas. There was a couple former Panthers on there. Good former Panthers all around the league. But yeah, man, ever since then, it's been a total culture shift. It's been now us fans feel spoiled, and it's just like almost 30 years of pure irrelevance. We started off hot, I wasn't alive then, but they did go to the Stanley Cup pretty much right off the jump. Got swept. Then we almost got swept against Vegas, and so it's been the team has changed into something phenomenal. Something we'll look back at and cherish for years to come.
Yeah, just like in the Panthers, and then 3 years before. I mean, the previous 3 years, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like hockey in Florida must be. Like I don't think when I was at FSU, they didn't even know what hockey was. Pretty much. The state sport. Like it's actually pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
This would be, I think, if Florida makes it, this would be the 6th straight year of Florida team making the Stanley Cup. So
the last team was my Boston Bruins in 2019.
So that is pretty cool.
I mean, it makes sense though. Like, why would you want to play anywhere else? I mean, I am a biased Floridian, but it's like you got great weather, no income taxes on, no state taxes, so your salary is pretty up there.
No pressure like these freaking Maple Leafs
players. Oh my god!
Like
Choke City.
Yeah, but like it's everywhere for them, bro. Like I genuinely started to feel bad in that series, where I was just like, dude, these guys, like, how do you go shopping or like how do you go out for coffee or anything without being heckled or followed down the street or something?
Yeah, and I guess Toronto, they have the Blue Jays and the Raptors, but if you're like Edmonton, bro, that's it, man. That's all they got.
The biggest one is that we talked about him a few times. Is Mitch Marner. I mean, he grew up in Toronto, grew up a Maple Leafs fan. He was drafted round 1, 4th overall by the Maple Leafs. Like he's, bled nothing but blue. Yeah. And now they're booing him as he's
played his last game,
going off the ice. He's got to feel the worst out of everyone. But
I will say though, after watching a couple funny yet sad Steve Dangle podcast videos, I don't really blame the fans. They are a very passionate, hardcore fan base. In the end of the day, you still got to perform. But yeah, it's definitely more pressure.
Dude, they've seen some shit, bro. I'm fucking sick of it too, man.
Oh man, they're one of those people like that claim, championship from way back then, and I get it. It sounds hypocritical because I am a Dolphin fan, but I'm not proud of the 72 team, man. I would be proud of the 72 team if I lived back in the day, but we haven't even won a playoff game. So it's like that fan base has been through a lot, man.
Dude, it's just not healthy. I can't, like I said, being from Boston, I can't imagine dwelling on a title from 50 years ago before we even had men on the moon.
Oh, Brad Marchand, man, the Leaf killer.
The Leaf killer, man. Was he 5-0 against them?
5-0 against the Leafs, man.
That's crazy. We got about 7 minutes left here, 8 minutes. We want to touch a few things up. Last week, actually, in the middle of our podcast, Jim Irsay died, which was
Yeah.
absolutely crazy news because it was the same day of the owners' meeting. So he must have literally just like flown home and then fell asleep and passed away. So
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace to Jim. What a great guy.
He was a good dude. I was listening to Part of My Take, and they said like he paid for a funeral, but he said under one condition: you can't tell anyone that I paid for the funeral. So like he was actually a really good dude, and
Yeah.
he did the ownership thing the right way. Like some of these guys you can tell it's just a cash cow for them. They don't really care, but he got into the team. He cared a lot about his guys. He cared a lot about Peyton and Jeff Saturday, and honored and valued those guys. So yeah, he will be missed.
Yeah, I saw Reggie Wayne break down at a news conference today. Pat McAfee, nothing but great words for him. So definitely sad in the sports world and everything like that. But I guess if you want to turn it on a happy, I guess not a happy note, but a more interesting note, Dez, your star wide receiver doing pink cocaine on a boat with Cardi B and her friends.
Is that what it was?
I
thought it was pink Himalayan salt, man. He's just trying to get that. That was electrolytes in, man.
They call it something with a T, and I can't think of the name off the top of my head. But I actually had
Tootsie or
something like that. I had to Google what that meant. I was like, what is that? And they're like, oh, it's pink cocaine. But it's like that's your
pretty fun to me, man.
That's your star wide receiver,
Cardi
Dez.
B, man. Poor Cardi B. He's just around 3 chicks in a bikini.
Well, she was on the boat. She was there.
I know, but she was not in the video.
He's probably
he's wearing 3 chicks.
What a good guy. What a good guy.
Total opposite of like Baker
Better
Mayfield.
football player than person, probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
You see Baker Mayfield and Tua just hanging out on the boat being dads. Those are the kind of guys I would hang out with.
Yeah.
But I guess another really NFL news. I guess circling back to the sad news. Demaryius Thomas going into the Broncos ring of fire. Good for him. Rest in peace.
Ring of honor, dude.
Ring of honor.
Ring of fire.
It's all the same thing, dude. It's all the same thing. Just go with it. Put it.
That was very sad.
Just comment and put ring of honor and then put parentheses. Like we'll get through it.
I got a question. So,
Yeah.
who do you guys think ends up signing with the Steelers at quarterback?
Yeah, I honestly don't even know.
Like right now, it's Skylar Thompson and bro. They
I think Will Howard's going to start week 1. I think Mike Thomas isn't here for all this crap, this Aaron Rodgers crap, and he's gonna be his maybe his farewell project. I mean, Tomlin probably has a good 10 years of coaching left, but I think he's just gonna screw it. I'll just work with this kid.
I saw Kirk Cousins was in the news, so we'll see.
Nah, dude, come on.
The Falcons first off have to get rid of Kirk Cousins at some point. You're not going to pay this guy the money you're paying him to be a backup. I mean, obviously Kirk would like that because you're getting paid stupid money.
Penix tore his ACL 4 times in college. I mean,
yeah, but dude, you're not paying what Kirk Cousins stupid money, dude.
But what if you release him? You're still taking on a $20 million
I
dead cap
think
hit?
you got to trade him. You're eventually going to trade him, right? Like you have to.
Get what?
A 7th round, a 6th round pick. Better than nothing.
They don't trade. They don't do 7th rounders in the NFL. At that point, you just.
I mean,
because then you're basically bailing them out from not having to pay the dead cap hit. So.
I mean, you gotta get something, right? You probably get a 6th or a 5th, maybe. Hopefully, that's kind of what you're kind of.
Why not have an elite backup? We've seen how decimated some of these
because
teams and their backup
you don't want to
situations
pay
are.
that much. You don't want to pay that much for a backup.
But you're gonna pay him a bunch to be a backup, or a bunch for him to be playing for another team.
I mean,
it was just a dumb signing. It was just that's all what it was.
Well, no, it was a dumb draft pick. Why are you gonna draft Michael Penix?
Yeah, I mean the combo didn't make any sense.
Yeah, especially you could have gotten easily Jared Verse at 8, right? That's where they were picking the year, not this past year. Yeah. You could have gotten the defensive player of the year at 8.
Yeah.
And you could have drafted. You easily could have drafted a quarterback like this year if it didn't work out with the Kirk Cousins. Like you would have obviously seen it work out the way it did, and then you could have easily gotten a quarterback, and it started a mess, it finished a mess. So,
I don't know. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about NFL, but a little tidbit I want to bring up is all the conference finals across the NHL and NBA are all 3-1.
Yeah.
Do you guys see any of these teams blowing the 3-1 lead? Or even maybe forcing a Game 7? I personally think my original prediction was Pacers in 7. I think I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah,
I think we'll go 7.
That would be the only
The
team.
Knicks are the one team I can see possibly doing it, but like the Dallas Stars or
they're probably not. OKC's going to win tonight. The Hurricanes are obviously freaking toast. So
I could see the Hurricane. If the Hurricanes can win tonight, I mean, obviously, if they lose, the series over. But if they kind of move from tonight, I think they can make it into a series. Like they start building momentum, right? Like if they can win, like Jason was saying, another close game, like 2-0, 2-1, and they start really playing how they want to play, then I think it may become a little different.
Yeah, and then you get the swing because the game 6 turns into a game 7 because it's on the road. So if they win game 6 in Florida, they get game 7 at home after winning 3 in a row. So
it's obviously it's funny. It's a must-win game. You gotta win, right? Like you have no
Is it
choice.
a must-win or a can't lose?
It's a must-win. I thought they would have rather lost in Florida. Like I think they would have already had a couple golf courses reserved.
Yeah, but
they could have go hung out at the beach. But man, they could probably turn it into a series if they win tonight. But this Panthers team is not going to drop 4 in a row. They won't allow that. Based off of everything I've seen them in recent memories.
Yeah. Andrew, how much time we got left?
About like a minute 30. But I was gonna say what's his face? Anthony Edwards came out and one day said they have KD but they have Jaden McDaniels. That we could see Jaden McDaniels just go off these next couple games, right?
Yeah, good.
But we'll see. And obviously, by this time next week, we'll obviously have our NBA Finals and our Stanley Cup.
We'll have John. On Pacer Fan next week.
It'll be very interesting to see if they blow it at that point. But yeah, we got about like a minute left here. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Jason,
I just want to give you a proper send-off because we usually get cut off around here. This episode's been great. I've had a ton of laughs. There's going to be some really good clips from this for the TikTok. You know a lot about ball, buddy. I was impressed with your pop knowledge. So yeah, we'll definitely have you on again. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Yeah, we only have elite ball knowers on the pod.
Yeah.
Elite.
Plus Andrew somehow made it on. But...
Hey, Eagles will go 12-5. You can check out my Eagles schedule prediction on the TikTok. Des will be posting his Patriots prediction soon. Other than that, we are good to go. We'll see you all next week. Thank you, Jason, again. Love you all and appreciate you every day. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Peace out, guys.